The Crafter is too big. The Multivan is too small. The ID Buzz is too heavy. There are some big changes coming to the campervan market as we currently know it. The Transporter as we know it will soon be no longer, and the new variant doesn't appear to have gone down well. That's the Volkswagen Ford Alliance, the Transporter Transit T7, whatever it's going to be called. Meanwhile, the VW Crafter is increasing in popularity, not only with buyers, but also with converters. Well, that's kind of obvious because you wouldn't really have one without the other. I was speaking to some converters last week at the NEC Campervan, Motorhome and Caravan show, and most of them have got plans, if not already models available of the bigger campervan. Some VW, MAN, Fiat, Mercedes and other brands of the base van. Different starting price points for different manufacturers. We are aware of the stronger residuals of the VWs than some of the other brands. Partly this and the strong following and the history of what the brand is what makes them popular. Regarding the VW Crafter range, this bigger vehicle is hitting the market in different guises. You thought the Transporter price range was vast. Well, the Crafter conversion price range is even greater. It is absolutely huge. There are so many different options which you can choose from, so many different preferences and different components. Comparing one to another needs to be done very carefully, as the specs do vary hugely. Some models could appear to be cheaper, but may only have 2 travelling seats. And with so much space for components, there is an even bigger difference between a van with cheap components to a van with premium components. Is this van really the van that people are going to be going for? I really do like these bigger vans, but there are some key reasons why at this moment in time, they are not for me. Why though? Surely they are better. Well, it's just not comparable to a Transporter. To be honest, both good and bad. They just are different vehicles. Let's take a look. We use vehicles for different purposes. We need to go shopping, commute to work, pleasure use for our hobbies and interests, taxiing the children around, then obviously our lifestyle chosen, which is outdoor adventure, the appreciation for the great outdoors, and probably getting very wet if we're in the UK. I do like a nice car, a car fitted with comfy seats that are nicely heated, it's smooth, it's light, it's fun to drive, it's got some power, good spec, modern infotainment system, very easy to park and drive, going down any given road, height barriers no problem, but it won't do what a Transporter can do. The huge benefit of a Transporter is its ability to function as a multi-purpose, multifunctional vehicle, jack of all trades vehicle, although some could actually say master of none. One day I could be going to work in my van, then later I could be on my way for a weekend away, or even a couple of weeks away. It truly is a capable daily driver. I'm going to show you why and talk about some concerns that some people may have. First up, my daily commute. For my day job, I drive to the office and I park in a normal car parking space. This is the first concern that some people might have. That is, it's too big to park. Well, the Transporter short wheelbase, it just isn't. The width is 1904 millimeters, excluding the mirrors, the length being 4,982 millimeters. And this isn't dissimilar to some estate cars or some SUVs that people have. The height of the vehicle as standard is 1,990 millimeters, although there are some huge variances here with conversions and modifications, with pop-tops and roof bars, lowered or raised suspension, all having an impact on what the actual height of the van is. A VW medium wheelbase Crafter, on the other hand, has dimensions of 2,069 millimeters width, excluding mirrors, and 5,986 millimeters in length. That's over a meter longer than the short wheel Transporter. The Crafter is also much taller, with the roof height starting at 2,300 millimeters to 3,200, so it is a tall vehicle. It isn't the largest of the big campervans, yet it doesn't fit comfortably in a parking space. The average car parking space in the UK is 2,400 millimeters by 4,800 millimeters long. Now, this is obviously small for the larger vehicles which we've got these days, and following new guidelines from the Institution of Structural Engineers, this is now going to be increased to 2,600 by 5,000 millimeters. But still, that means that these bigger vehicles won't fit. The bigger campervan or motorhome is harder to park comfortably. It can overhang in car parks, often taking up 2 spaces. It takes some thinking ahead when you wanting to park and leave the van somewhere, thinking about where you're actually going to go and can you get in there. You would need to be careful in car parks as different rules apply, and you may have to buy more than one ticket if you're taking up more than one space, or you could be fined if you break the parking rules. Additionally, some car parks may not be accessible with a crafter or a bigger van. Height restrictions are installed. As I've said, the crafter is quite tall, and that's without a pop-top or roof bars fitted. In fact, height barriers could prevent some transporters gaining access. I've seen someone with a roof box smash through a 2-metre height barrier, which they would normally have gotten under. But unfortunately, on this particular occasion, they forgot that they'd actually got a roof box on the top of the van. A really costly mistake to make. The box was completely and totally utterly destroyed. I didn't see if there was any damage to the roof or the bars, but there might well have been. However, the transporter with the height barriers are less of a problem, but you do need to be aware of your van and ensure that you're not carrying a load on top. However, with the transporter, the height barriers are less of a problem, but you do need to be aware of the height of your van and ensure that if you are carrying on top of your van, then you need to remember when you see a height barrier. I've heard some beach car parks are now getting height restriction barriers, which will definitely be catching people out this summer. You might not be exploring those caves out in your kayak if you don't remember that there's a new height barrier installed and it gets taken off. But height barriers are not just for car parks. You've got drive-throughs which can often have height barriers. So if you have a bigger van, then a McDonald's, a KFC, a Costa, then it might actually be off the menu. You might have to do it the old-fashioned way and just go in, or maybe use your facilities of your van. You've probably got some cooking facilities. You've got your boiling your water, or I've got a new portable battery-powered espresso machine, which I'm going to be showing you in a few videos. Fantastic machine it is. It's battery powered and it makes espresso coffees. Country roads and narrow lanes are also a consideration for the size of a van. A car is the best option here as it's smaller, generally speaking. A crafter can travel down some of these roads, but some of them do have some very, very small passing places. In the summer, some of the lanes down here in Devon and Cornwall can get really congested, and with a bigger vehicle, it certainly does make it a lot more difficult. That said, there's some people who get stuck in cars as they don't actually know how to drive the lanes, and some people don't even care. They'll just drive right down the middle with no intention whatsoever of pulling in and letting anybody else pass, just expecting everybody else to clear the path for them. But with a bigger van, obviously it's going to be more difficult to get past here. A push bike in the summer could actually be better for some of these types of roads, and you could keep your bike in your crafter's garage. What you can't keep in a garage though, normally, unless you've got a really big one, with the size of this kind of vehicle, the crafter size vehicle, you're also going to need to consider where you can keep it. Not everybody has a big driveway to safely store vehicles, especially the size of a big camper van. You may not be able to keep it on the street, but if you have bought a brand new one, then you don't really want that expense being on the road anyway. Plus the neighbours. Would it be in front of people's houses, blocking windows, blocking narrow roads, preventing other people from parking? I've also heard of restrictive covenants prohibiting certain types of vehicles from being kept on drives. This does seem to be on some of the more modern estates that are being built these days. People don't want these great big commercial vehicles sat outside the houses spoiling the view. Your insurers may also not be happy if you did think about keeping such a valuable vehicle out on a public road. There are lots and lots of things to consider and to be aware of. So the external size can pose some, let's say, challenges as opposed to problems, because they aren't really problems, they're just inconveniences for your use purpose. Even bigger vehicles than this are driven on a daily basis, albeit used on a commercial basis, not really a pleasure basis, so they can't be much of a problem. But why would you even bother with any type of camper van as a daily driver though? Well, let's take my work scenario. I use my van for work, as do many others. And this gives me the ability to obviously go to work and go and see clients and do my various different appointments and things. But having a camper van, a kitted out van, also gives me the ability to have food and drink in the van. Food and drink that has been stored in a fridge, whether that be a fully fitted fridge in your full conversion or a portable one in a Kombi van. My lunch, milk for coffee, water and anything else I can have can just be chilling in there. That's whether I'm parked in a work car park or out and about seeing people a few hours drive away. I can tuck in, I can have a meal, I can have a snack, a cold drink, or even make a hot drink as well. a brew, a coffee like I've mentioned. Additionally, a toilet. And I know, okay, not everybody wants to use a portable toilet, but it's there if I need or like want it or like desperately need it. I don't need to be stopping at service stations spending money on food and drink, although I could use the toilet there as it would be a better toilet than the toilet in my van. I can also go to work in the morning and then I can go out on my paddleboard or new kayak, which I certainly intend to buy. This will definitely be coming very, very soon as we approach spring. If I go out on the water or indeed for a swim, then afterwards with my van, I've got the facilities to have a shower, get warm, get dry, have some food, have some drink. The joys of a van. What a great thing to be able to do. Having the facilities in a van is perfect. A transporter may not have the full internal wet room like a crafter can, but still it's much more than you have if you've only got a car. Simple things like turning up early somewhere for a parking space, like a football match for instance, when parking spaces can be limited, waiting for those who like shopping whilst they're in the supermarket or in the shopping centres, or even if I have spare time whilst I'm out and about, I can relax in the back of the camper, I can watch some TV, some YouTube, play some games or even have some food in much more comfort than I can in a car. For this, I could be parked in a multi-storey car park as I don't have the height barrier issues that a bigger campervan would. But please remember, don't forget your height. Don't forget if you've stuck your surfboards, your roof box or your kayak up there. Yeah, you've got to remember that roof height barrier. It does happen. A transporter is just so versatile. I can also use it for my voluntary work, whether turning up at a premises with a small car park for a visit somewhere, moving items from one place to another, or delivering food to those who are really in need. My van makes these tasks really simple. A bigger van would be making it a bit more tricky, and a car would be trickier still because I won't be able to fit everything in. And I have a dog now, as you may have seen. Well, a puppy, but she is growing fast, and it's perfect to have a van. I can have her in the crate in the back if I need. It doesn't matter if she's dirty, she can go anywhere she wants, as I can shower her with the collapsed shower which I bought last week. Just lots of space for her things, her food, her treats, her drinks, her blankets, and obviously her towels, because she does get really, really wet in this awful weather. Although today, amazingly, it's absolutely beautiful, although still very, very cold. But let's not also forget the purpose of a camper, along with eating and drinking, and that's sleeping. Having the ability to sleep in a comfy bed takes this versatile vehicle to a total other level. Personal choice of beds, as it is up to you. We've all got different budgets and different preferences, but having a bed gives you a place to sleep and stay for much less cost than a hotel would, and you can stay at some beautiful locations looking at some beautiful scenery. Again though, this might not be in a full campervan conversion. It could just be a removable bed or a slide out bed like the slide pod type system. As I say over and over again, my needs are not your needs. You could even save money by not choosing a campsite and by staying at free place to stay locations. Stealth camping, but make sure whatever you're doing, you are doing it legally. Some pubs and restaurants even advertise this. Stay for free when you buy your meal. And you will be seeing me do exactly that later this year. That really will be a treat. I'm looking forward to that. So a small van has all these positives, but yet a big campervan arguably has more. The size of a crafter means you can carry more luggage, more clothes, more appliances, a greater array of pans, bigger fire pits, bigger batteries, better electrical systems, a full-on wet room and a full-size shower, a toilet you can properly close the door, and you can actually lock it so you're not disturbed without the need to go into an awning or maybe a toilet tent. The electrical system can power you off-grid for many days, even weeks, depending on your needs. You can take your lovely espresso coffee machine from home to have your oat milk flat white whilst on your travels. The system can cater for an induction hob and a microwave too, and you can have the bigger batteries, the inverter and the solar panels to make sure it's all topped up. You can charge your e-bikes for getting around them country roads I've already mentioned. An e-bike would be perfect for that, or getting around those little the campsite and exploring on your bikes. And your bikes can go in the garage with your paddleboards, your kayaks, your portable fridge, your ice maker, your freezer. There's just tons of room in there. You've got bigger beds with thicker mattresses if you wish, although again, personal preferences. without the concern of having a big thick mattress and struggling where you're going to put it during the day. The beds are often fixed, so you're not having to set it up each night. You can just go and rest your head. Do you get frustrated when each night you've got to set up your bed, make your bed? It's just nice that a fixed bed can be there waiting for you, so you can rest your really head after you've been out exploring all day. You'll generally have more space to relax, sit down and chill out, experiencing the outdoor lifestyle in far greater comfort than a car or a smaller van can generally provide. A big camper really does take your campervan van life experience to another level. So why have I only got a transporter and not a bigger, arguably much better campervan? Well, I need my van as a daily driver. I need to go to work in it. I need to park in smaller car parking places. I would love a crafter campervan, especially the new facelift which is coming soon with all the enhancements that it has. But I couldn't daily it, and I can't afford to buy a new van and a new car to daily. Then if I did daily a car without a van, I would lose all the benefits of my small transporter size van. So it's not really an easy choice. It's not a straightforward, you should buy this rather than this. We've all got different needs, all got different lifestyles. We're just different people who do different things, have different budgets, different expenditures. Okay, so now I'm going to say something that you might not agree with and some of you might disapprove, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think that I would like a crafter all fully kitted out with everything, but as a daily driver, I would really like to try an ID Buzz. There you go, I have said it. I test drove the ID Buzz, only driving about 40 minutes though, because I was trying to film as well. But in that short time, I really liked it. And for the daily driving aspect, it still gives me that carrying capacity to put the gear in the back, the food, the drink, the toilet aspects I require. Or perhaps what might be better might be a multivan. That said, I do like the Arteon-R or the T-Roc R, the 2-litre 300 horsepower petrol engines as a daily. They'd be really good, and I would love one of them. But they don't do everything else. So maybe the perfect situation might be the hybrid multivan, or maybe the hybrid new T7 when it comes out. I don't know. There are just so many different choices, so many different options. But for me, the biggest factor is money. And that means for the time being, my van will remain unchanged and I will be sticking with my current van, despite the fact that every time I see another van for sale, I want it and I try and think, yeah, that'd be perfect for me. That one's green and it's got this and it's got that and I'd love it. But I've not got the money to do it. I've not got the money to change. And I certainly had that thought when I saw the incredible vans at the show last week. Have a look at those here. Let me know what you think. Take care, and I hope to see you soon.